Okay, let us start now. Sorry. Welcome to Abode Masters, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, and brothers and sisters around the globe to Saturday Hualien Dharma Talk. A very good morning. Let us start the session for today. Recently, disasters have happened so rapidly, one after another, due to the great imbalance of four elements. Now with the COVID-19 pandemic around the world, Master have great concern and earnestly urge everyone to repent and adopt vegetarian meal to protect life and cultivate our great love to living beings and for the goodness of society and the world. Let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sahara land be free from disaster and peace prevails in the world. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10 directions. May the Sahara land be free from disaster and peace prevail in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere prayers.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. From my heart, I pray. May we join our hands, our hearts as one. Spread the seeds of great love, nurture wisdom evermore. Let us fill the world with hope. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas know my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified, may there be peace in the community, may there be no disasters in the world. Now let us together pray for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a happy body, an enlightened mind, and a total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world, every being in the universe. Let our unified love make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. Before we hear the wonderful sharing, let us invite our masters to lead us in paying homage to the triple gems. Let us pay our respects for these teachings and explanations to the Buddha and Master Ching by making true sincere vows. Please rise, come together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And the bow to our beloved Abode Masters who would like us to do. So today we have Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa who will be sharing with us on what a young philosopher discovered more than 200 years ago, and followed by Brother Joe Huang and Dharma Discussions. Now let us hand over this platform to Sister Su Ching for weekly summary. Sister Su Ching, over to you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Let me find my file. Okay, found it. Okay. Sorry about this. Okay, so last week, the Su Ching related stories told by Brother David. She skillfully related the sequence of events as the lessons unfolded. One story was of a man who, whilst on a bicycle, was struck. In all fairness, it was an unfortunate event, but when seen from another perspective, a stroke of good luck. Ordinarily, the man who hit him was a driver of a truck. Had he driven the usual vehicle, the accident damage would really suck. Another story was of a person getting a car plate with a seemingly bad sequence of numbers, which really does not sound so bad if another intonation is used to utter. Truly, what is just a matter of perspective, is it not? And our reaction and hence our emotions are all tied to our predominant thoughts. Every outwardly bad event will always have a silver lining in the end. We repay our karma retributions early while we are on a path with virtuous friends. A change in the way we think can lift our mood and transform our experience in just a moment. Therefore, the training of our minds to seek the silver linings must be our lifelong commitment. Then Brother Shan came on. Brother Shan spoke about habits being neutral. It can be good, bad, or good. If we cultivate our morality and behavior, we can be on the path to Buddhahood. Habits are not intentional, as it is an automatic internal response to things. It is easy to reflect on major mistakes, but not easy to drop small habits that are annoying. Brother Shan traced how a habit is first formed. It begins with a routine that becomes a conduct norm. When the conduct is perpetuated, then that behavior becomes a habit. When the habit is not arrested, then it becomes the determinant of fate. A person's accumulated fate is otherwise known as karma, but under microscopic analysis, it is first thoughts that is the start of the routine dilemma. From thoughts to routine to behavior, and then to habit and to fate. Turning thoughts into karma is a series of events that we can monitor before it is too late. Thoughts and routines are controlled by us, so let us be aware and be mindful of our thoughts, feed them with kindness and loving care. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you for listening. I will, hold on now. I don't know why this is a little bit off. How do I unshare this? Okay. I'll hand it over to Sister Su Ching. You can introduce the next speaker. Stop share. Okay. Couldn't find my icon.
感恩 Sister Su Ching for the wonderful summary, and 感恩 Sister good morning. Okay, Sister Lily for the wonderful hosting. Okay, okay, we could see Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa on board. And this morning we heard about Master's wisdom at dawn, mutual harmony throughout the Dharma realms. Reminded me of Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa. It's always very amazing. Somehow that day, when Master speaks, we'll connect very close to the sharer. Wealth enriches a house, and virtue enriches the body. Such I'm seeing from our exemplary Bodhisattva, Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa. When the mind has this thought, when we form aspiration, our spirits will move forward with diligence. So a single thought can reach everywhere, even the smallest grain of dust. A single thought is just like this. Any grains of dust anywhere with some length is a place we can reach. With this state of mind and Dharma riches, it is inseparable from the moment, can go at ease and unhindered to any countries, any moment. Very grateful. And today, I'm sure everyone also look forward to the sharing by Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa. What a young philosopher discovered more than 100 years ago. Okay, without much ado, over to you, Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa.
Okay, let me share PowerPoint. I think, yeah. Okay. Okay. Master and Dharma Master in Jingse and sister and brothers. It has been many months. I couldn't recall the time flies so quickly. That is our time to share with you all about what we have encountered these past few months, and it's always an honor actually to share some good articles or good learning from Master, right? So thank you, Sister Lisa. I always pull her together and share some thought, because we always do Tzu Chi together. I think the Master always urge us, right? We should recruit all our family member to do Tzu Chi. Actually, it's not doing Tzu Chi only. We actually is cultivate our spiritual part. The only spiritual part can last our marriage. Yeah, it's true. And can last our family together, right? This is a very important point. Okay, let's go to what I encountered for the past few months. This is one of the articles I read in the New York Times. Right, what a young philosopher discovered more than 200 years ago. You see the picture, right? On the right hand side is a hand, right? The hand eventually becomes trees, flowers. So there's some hidden meaning over there, right? Let's go through it. Hope today sharing will be much more interesting to your daily life. So this is a very young philosopher. And let me see, close this. Okay, a very young philosopher, and he encountered this deep experience when he was only 23 years. He's a young professor in the University of Jena in Germany. Like in year 1798, is that almost 200 years ago. So what he said is there's a secret bond connecting our mind and nature. So his idea that the our self and nature are in fact identical was as simple as it was radical. He explained this by pointing to the moment when the self becomes aware of the world around it. So what is that encounter? So it's a very good, when you read through it, I really imagine at the moment when I'm conscious of the external world, the consciousness of myself is there as well. So the consciousness is not like conscious your body. He also conscious about the nature world outside, example, the tree and the flowers. This is fantastic. So, and at the moment, the self-awareness, the real world arise up before me. That's what he encountered. It kind of like united together. Right? Instead of dividing the world into mind and matter, as many philosophers has done before, right? The young professor actually told the student at times that everything was one. It was an idea that would change the way humans think about themselves and nature. 200 years ago, even the greatest genius Albert Einstein is not born yet. Okay, is a young philosopher. He already have this kind of encounter. I think it's excellent. This when first time I read the article in New York Times. New York Times post this article is not purposely just post it. It has some backgrounds about our world right now, right? Chaotic world right now, climate change, right? So there's so much ongoing right now. The economy right now, people seeing will be crashed again. So a lot of things happening, right? It's just 3 months. I do not know what's the word before 3 months. I share about the songs, right, with Brother Hans. And after 3 months, and almost more than 100 days, Brother Hans passed away. The world is almost different. So changing so fast and dynamic, right? And New York Times post this article has some meaning of that. It try to remind people, we as a human and the nature, why something is not right happening right now. So this is what the young philosopher 200 years ago tried to remind us, right? And in the right coincidence, the Nobel Prize in Physics in this year, because I'm coming from physics background, I'm very, very enthusiastic about what physics prize every year. And this year is somehow that is during my PhD study, the quantum mechanic, right? Even if you in your phone, right? I see in the phone, the chip behind the phones, the electron flowing that cause the on and off in your chip that enable your phone, enable all the equipment actually coming from the quantum equations. Yeah, it's fantastic discovery. And this year is almost recognized for almost like 100 years of the work. And it tells us that quantum entanglement is real. It proved by these three scientists, and they discovered 100 years ago together with some of the famous physicists, including Albert Einstein. Although Albert Einstein is not believed that, but somehow it's real. So what quantum mechanics tells us that in subatomic level, it means that your electron, your protons, right? We read about electron, proton, right? And the light, the photon, light actually it consists of photons. Not a lot of people know that. And it's all connected. We all connected. The Lisan's electron actually is entangled with me right now. My electron actually entangled with Su Ching right now, because the theory told us that this is not theory. This is a real right now. It's recognized by the Nobel Prize. The model and children told us that even two particles like separate like billion light years ago, like in one of the, maybe you can imagine it's one of the Milky Way. Right now we are Milky Way, the other galaxy that far beyond, the electron there actually connected with us right now. Entangled is not connect, it's entangled. Any change on the electron in my body, actually there's a change in the billion years ago. It's kind of a what we call spooky actions, what Albert Einstein told us. And it kind of, how to say, no one believed that. No scientists believe that. That's why they need three physicists to prove that. And they only proved that recently with the advanced equipments, and they got the Nobel Prize. It's so important in today's world because why? This modern mechanic we're going to use for the quantum computing. If quantum computing for the next 15 years is real, the whole world is going to upside down, changing at all. It's a million times faster than current computing power. You can imagine, right? So important discovery by the humans. And I just try to say that 150 years ago, Newton world is like separate out entity. You, Lisan and I, you seeing we are separate with this space, right? This is how Newton world, we call Newton world. Cause and effect, law of karma. I hit you, actually you punch the wall, you feel the pain because there's another force coming from the wall, right? This third law of the Newtons, right? Everyone's read through it. This actually is cause and effects, and it's under Newton world. But now we are going into the quantum world. We all connected as one. You have to accept it. We cannot experience it. I will tell you that later, how hard is Master want us to experience it. Our Buddha teachings also want us to experience it, but we can't right now. Okay, so go through it. We will learn something about that. So that's why this young philosopher, unlike Newton, unlike other scientists, he already experienced it. Everything from insect to trees, stone to birds, rivers to humans was part of one great organism. You know, one part of the life, living life. The earth actually is a living organism. You know how Master described the earthquake. The earthquake actually is an imbalance inside the earth, and he tried to release those unbalanced energy. That's why we have earthquakes. So we really need to take care of this blue pearl, just one beautiful blue pearl in the Milky galaxy. That's why how Master feel that. She also felt that the earth is an organic organism, is a living organism. So this is same things that happened in 200 years ago. This young philosopher, this is a very important takeaway for today, my sharing, because 3 months has been a lot of changing, and actually Shu is right after 200 years. So, but how about Buddha? Buddhism teaching, like Buddha teaching, Buddhism, what 2,600 years ago, even earlier, far earlier than this young philosopher, Buddha already discovered, right? There's a five period of the Buddha teaching. If you really go deep into the wisdom at dawn this week, is so important because it's a chapter about jewelry stupa, right? Appearance of the jewelry stupa, and Master start talking about 5 phases of the Buddha teaching. Same thing. Buddha tried to describe his enlightenment phase or experience in the Avatar saga, but no one understand that. Okay, then he start to readjust the teaching and start with the agama. Agama actually is same as a Newton word. If you can imagine, it talk about appearance, it talk about cause and effect, it talk about agama. If you you will do something bad, bad karma will come into you, and all is a appearance, real entity, separate entity. Then it start to go inside Vaimpuya, prana, and later actually coming back to lotus, the final 14 years, and it merge all the teaching together, become the lotus. The lotus teaching, as you know, everyone already know, is actually tell us that everyone, every single human beings, even the being, has a Buddhahood inside. We all as a one. You can enlighten, everyone can enlighten. So this is what the Lotus Sutra told us. Actually, is telling about the quantum world, all connected together as a one organism. Is example, the earth as a one. That's the final teaching about Lotus. So if you combine the history of the scientific discovery, you can actually map together how Buddha, 5 period of the Buddha teaching, they all talking about the same thing. They all talking about the same thing. So you should feel lucky that I feel lucky that when I doing this PowerPoint, I actually feel so lucky that we are at the ultimate period, the lotus period, and master actually start teaching about the lotus immediately when she start the Chiji. So that's why master, this is in the just a few days ago, October 12, Vision at Dawn. One of the teaching, right? One part of few clip of the teaching, master told us the law of karma. Actually, if you imagine, is a Newton law. Actually, contain the true suchness. The true suchness actually is the quantum, which connect all together. So now you can imagine this just simple word, right? 因果中有真如, just simple, just one line of the sentence. And the English translation, the law of karma contains true suchness. If you do not think about deeply, you just hear it. Actually, it tell you all the great discovery for the past 1,000 years, 2,000 years ago, or past 200 years ago from a philosopher phase, or past 100 years ago, the progress of the scientific world. It all combined to this one sentence. If you can understand that. So if you can understand that, if you knew what's going on, then you will appreciate all the hard work from the master want to teach us. Master teacher see wondrous existence in true emptiness. True emptiness in wondrous existence. 真空妙有, 妙有真空. They all is as one. It's just two faces. This is how Master teach during our jewelry stupa, right? But Master encourage us go beyond the subatomic finding reaches from the physics itself, because it's hard to find, right? Even we cannot find, even if everyone know that, our world will be going harmonic, right? Because we couldn't find it, so hard to find it. Then we need to experience in the daily life. We need to experience it. In order to find those quantum behavior, you need to have very expensive equipment. But if we listen to master teaching, this is how she tell us how to find it. Go beyond people to obtain wisdom and form a good affinity. It will lead you to the wondrous existence of the true suchness, right? This is how master guide us. You can find it. Actually, you need to go to the people, and you can learn. You can start, and this is how Bodhisattva ways appear. Why Bodhisattva way is the only way you can obtain the true suchness. In my physic world, obtain the quantum world, obtain the oneness. It's the only way. a lot of people ask me why Bodhisattva way is the only way to attain the enlightenment. That this is the answer. It's not sitting there in meditation you can attain the enlightenment. Why I need to interact with the people? Because there are so many affliction when I interact with people. So much affliction arise. I can't. I have to seek a quiet place and meditate so that I can find a true suchness. Is it the way? I've asked so many ways. I can find my peaceful feeling when I be quiet. I don't want to go among the people. That's what the conventional people asking about, talking about Buddhism, right? But actually it's not. If you think about the history, Nobel Prize, philosopher that I share with you, there's no way you can find a peace. It's only you go in because they all connect to each other, right? So where can we find it? No, our life, daily life. Master told us it's in our life. It's not somewhere quiet, somewhere in the cave that you need to hide yourself. It's somewhere quiet in your house. No, it's in our daily life. Oh, our nature of true success is in our daily life. A lot of people miss that point, right? It's in our daily life. Okay. The question is, why are we unable to find it? Or are we still finding? I think so. And then because of the ignorance, because I think our eyes like covered with some things that we cannot see it, we cannot find it. And in the Buddhism phase, we call it ignorance, wuming, no blind, not enlightened. You're not seeing the light. It's kind of black, right? Ignorance, right? It's a good word about, very good words talking about wuming, right? So we are kind of covered by something, right? So if you knew who you are, right? For all the few slides that I share, if you knew who you are, with the greatest discovery of human error, since Buddha, since the young philosopher, since the Albert Einstein, and since the quantum world 100 years ago, now proved to be true, and coming to the quantum computing for the next 20 years, if you knew who you are, who we are, and why our behavior still different, why we are not really appreciate what all the great efforts discovered by all the genius, all the enlightened ones, why still behave so different? See the world, chaotic world, see the divisions in US especially, see all the world, how we can help, how we can leverage those great discovery, right? From the philosopher, from the enlightened one, from master, from all the Nobel Prize physicists. Why? I know all the theory, I know all the discovery, but I still cannot really make the world better. That's my frustrations. So I think we just ignore them at all. Ignorance. I think we just ignore them. Just follow our Su Ching, our behavior, right? So this is the first part of that. So especially when I know that in our daily living, ask ourselves how not to ignore. Very simple question. How not to ignore, but live the life leading to true suchness. So this is just when I heard Master urge, please, all the brothers and sisters, all the disciples, please be vegetarians. So I really sad to hear Master need to use a please, because we have been vegetarian for 20 years, or our whole family, because just master one word. 20 years ago, I still remember during SARS, she really encouraged every disciple to be vegetarians. Everyone in the line group right now, or in the Zoom right now, have you heard about 20 years ago, Master talk about vegetarians, be a vegetarian during SARS? If you still do not do that, then you really ignore them totally, right? So this is what used to be. I also ignored a lot of things, right? We used to be ignored the discovery, ignored the truth, ignored everything, right? I think we need to start think about that. The reason why I share the first part to you is because there's so many things already prove that. Don't ignore, not to ignore it anymore. Okay, so and we also gratitude about nature. Lisa and I really, if you start to be a vegetarian, you by nature, you really want to go to nature. Really, we really love nature, and we really be an environmental protection in our daily life. When we go out, we just use our own utensil. We won't waste anything, just one time use, because we love nature. If you know that every electron inside the tree is entangled with you, if you know that every breath you breathe in or inhales out, they all connect, exchange, and tangle, what are you going to do with the tree? Are you going to chop it down? Are you going to hurt yourself or just hurt the tree? Are you going to eat animals? Because they are one of you. You need to think about that. If you know the true meanings, the true suchness, inside every single electron, photon, in the tree, in the table, then you will start to gratitude. You will start to think of take care everything that you use. Try to use it at the almost ultimate, right? Try vegetarian, try to taking care the animals. That's what Master said. The 完整的爱, the completeness of the love is not like only one angle, only part of that. You have to complete only like quarter of that. No, now we really need to know what is a completeness love. With the all the slide information I told you, actually it should be give you something that take away, that's thinking of your daily life, and leave out the quantum world, what we call. If you reach out the quantum world, then you will really enlighten, and then you will find your true suchness. So that's why I recall again a good one, and I would let Sister Lisan to share this animal. Okay, yeah, Sister Lisan, you want to continue?
Thank you. Hi, brothers and sisters. So if I remember correctly, 3 months ago when we talked about our recent involvement in a long-term recovery of the fire victims in Northern California. So we continue to kind of work with the community that we engaged to help out, after during their kind of disaster recovery process. So the last chance committee that we went in Santa Cruz, so last time we talked about that. So the picture that we're showing here is interesting because just last week, last week, we actually went to, again, the remote mountainous area, last chance community, and then we joined them in the meeting. So this time around, they actually honored us by having a ceremony for us to present the 2 big containers that you see in the picture to them, because after the fire, a lot of their houses were burned down. So currently they are living in the tent, or they're living in some mobile home or even trailers. So they actually mentioned to us during our working together when we went there to visit them. They mentioned that they actually need something to keep the main tools that they used to rebuild the house, as well as various essential tools. So they can't just leave it there under the sun and the rain all the time. So we actually gone through and the process of getting them this. These are not cheap, but because
Yeah.
of the need compared to, we feel that, it's very essential for them. So we actually, purchased the 2 container for them. So during the visit, this animal here, as you can tell in the wording here, is actually not a dog. It's a pure wolf. Okay, and it's my first time so close
To the wolf.
in touching a wolf.
Dancing with wolf. With
Not
the wolf.
only going near to the wolf, but even touching the wolf. Because the story about this wolf, and her name is Daisy, a very pretty name. She was adopted when she was 7
7
months
months, yeah.
old by one of the child. And that child, just a brief history about that child. Now he's
He's one
already
of
a
them,
teenager.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of them in the picture. So according to what we learned from one of the residents there, the child is actually pretty rebellious and very hard to deal with when he was growing up. But since the day he adopted the 7-month-old
Changed.
wolf, he started changing, interacting with this new pet of his, and they both interact and actually build a good relationship, kind of good pet and owner relationship, very good rapport. And amazingly, the wolf is nothing that I would imagine. It's really, really obedient, really nice, and you can feel that energy. So, we have volunteers, like we want to take pictures with the wolf. So we go around
chasing after wolf.
after her. We even ask her, hey, please sit. And she actually sat. She sat down and took the pictures with us. So when I try to approach and touch hers, she will kind of turn around and take a look at me and then let me pet on her. Of course, the fur is very different from a dog.
Yeah.
But I think what it tells back to what we are talking today is like connection. So I guess we are coming from a place that we are demonstrating kindness, good energy, a caring energy, that we wanted to be near to her. And she, as part of us, because we just learned about like universes, we are all one organism together, she can relate to our energy as well. So there's a response. So I believe how the adoption of this wolf as a pet by the little child that changed him, as well as changing Daisy, it speaks a lot about our intention. So when we radiate positive, compassionate intention to any being around us, not just animal, even to a tree, to a flowers, I believe all of us heard before about the scientific experiment about saying good things to a plant. The plant will actually blossom and grow very nice. So that is some experience that we would like to share. So again, I come back. This is the case that under 4 of us, under our care of all of us. Her name is Dawn. Again, we want to see her again. Her positive energy, optimism, and always smiling attitude always give us in return an undescribable energy. We feel love from her. That is actually, when we go deep in the wood, it says so much about being in touch with our true suchness. She is a real bodhisattva example. Although she's a victim of the fire, although she has lost everything and she's still in the process of rebuilding a house, still going through with so much challenges in her life. But what we see through Dawn is just joyful gratitude and resilience. So what she demonstrated to us is a kind of unexplainable energy that we resonate so much with. I think it's also what we are looking for as we embark on our bodhisattva way, reaching out to people, trying to find the real soul within us, in which it's a compassionate energy that connected to the entire organism, like
Yeah, I
one
want
organism.
to add one point. I think in front of her, I feel so humble. Yeah, normally we think that we are up into really high level because we provide help, right, to Dawn, but in front of her and understand what she has been going through and still so joyful gratitude. No, I really feel humble.
Exactly,
You know,
because I think the tough shit that she gone through is nothing that we can imagine. If to reflect back, I'm not even sure if I'm able to take it.
Yeah.
You know, the toughness, all the challenges, and as an example, she still love her home, the so-called home. As you can tell now, it's like just a trailer and nothing around. All her 7 structures all were burned
Burned
down.
down.
However, you know, again, this time she walked us to the nearby hill slope that's still part of her land. You can see there's a swing up there with a pillow, because during the night she would go up there and just sleep there and look at the universe, look at the sky, enjoy the peacefulness, being connected. And she shared with us that she felt gratitude that she has that. And compared to that, you know, we are nothing compared to her.
Look that we have everything,
Yeah.
but we lost everything.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like we have everything perhaps externally, but internally we may not be as wholesome as her.
Yep.
In which
Yeah.
she is so in touch with the true suchness. So that is the best gift, you know, being a volunteer, when we are
Yeah,
able to walk into humans.
if we do not join Tzu Chi, how are we going to
Discover.
know her and know the story? I think that's the part that I told everyone together. The Buddhists are the way, right? That's a very key point to find your true suchness.
Yeah. So again, you know, every time visit her is like a family getting together. And this time around, she has a visitor, her sister, coming from Georgia to visit her. In fact, you know, after the disaster, both of them lost their mother. So this time her sister came over not just to visit her. In fact, the next day they are going to bury their mother together. So we sat down together. We brought her Master's Jingsi aphorism book, the one with different languages.
Yep.
5 languages, I believe. The Japanese, the Spanish, and English. Believe it or not, Connie is Dawn's sister. She fell in love with the book. She just flipped through it. She read out loud, and she's like, "Wow, this is amazing! It just says so much about
Wisdom.
and then so simple yet so into the soul." So she loved it. And then we, of course, you know, we asked her to bring it back to Georgia and visit our Atlanta City chapter there in Georgia. So we told her the bamboo stories, how Master started Tzu Chi 56 years ago. You know, we told her about our philosophy, or our principles of no work and no meal, you know. So it's, again, a very, very meaningful and life-touching sharing during having that conversation. And again, Dawn donated her second bamboo bank. We brought a new bamboo bank to her. And this time around, her bamboo bank is not as full as the last time, but, you know, she make a kind of, she's very humorous. She just said, "Wow, that's heavy." You know, of course we responded, "Of course it's heavy," because it's not heavy, physically heavy, but it's actually heavy and precious from her thought of kindness that she wants to pay for it. She wants to pay for it through the love that we will actually bring to the Ian hurricanes relief.
Yeah, because if you imagine what she's staying right now is actually a trailer. You can imagine, right? Probably we have a house that 2,000 square feet or 1,000, but she's just staying in a trailer for past 2 years. And she's, if you somehow put into her shoes, then you can imagine what's going on, right?
Yeah.
That's why Lisa mentioned heavy is actually inside her heart. It's so heavy,
Yeah.
her good heart.
Yeah. So, you know, her contentment actually inspired us a lot. So now with that, I think, you know, not to mention, so Bodhisattva way is the right path, and it's the only path So when we engage in the spiritual practice, no other way but the Bodhisattva path. So we will gain a lot of experience, when we actually go into people, when we interact with people, because this is an opportunity for us to discover our inner self, to eliminate all our ignorance, anger, delusion, or ignorance, everything. Only when we are challenged, when interacting with people, then only we have an opportunity to kind of grow from there. So we'll be able to purify our nice consciousness, which will again ensure us that we are actually going back to the so-called soul home. So the question is, where is the jewelry stupa? Okay, so the jewelry stupa is actually you, me, and every one of us. It's nothing external, it's just us within us. Only if we are able to kind of touch upon and go inside us, we're able to be in touch and find out what are the things that we need to let go, we need to discover, or wipe away all the dust or all the ignorance that covering us, and let the jewelry stupa shine through us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is what happening for the past 3 months, living in US, facing all those chaotic, but fortunately, we still able to walk in the path of Chiji. We really appreciate that, so that we can see the beauty. We can see the beauty among the people, and see the beauty inside the true suchness, regardless who they are, and feel. And what I got back is I feel much more humble to work more to more people. Right, that's what the past reflecting us against. So it's you, everyone's that. Hope we can share more story next time. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Hi. Hi, Brother BaoRu. Hi, Sister Lisan. Hello. Hi. Okay, before you guys leave, please don't leave so soon. I'm not going to begin my part just yet. Couple questions, and also the questions for Brother BaoRu about entanglement. I think it will probably be very difficult to go into detail. So hang on, it says that my internet is. Okay, hopefully I'm back. All right, and so questions for Brother BaoRu and also Lisan is that you mentioned that if you know that the tree is part of you, right? The tree is part of you, and if you know that the air that you breathe in, the I don't know what that's called, the quantas or whatever, the quartz, whatever, those are all entangled. So why would we want to damage yourself, right? So the question is, but we do. We do. We know that drinking alcohol isn't good. We still do. We know that certain things that we need to do, right? You need to study to get good grades. You don't. So the problem isn't so much that we don't believe, right? It's what is it, right? It's not even like, even if I know that protecting the tree is the same as protecting me, but the problem isn't just that, because we know that, you know, smoking isn't good for you, you know, sleeping late isn't good for you, you know, exercise is good for you, but is everybody doing that or not doing that? I think there's a bigger problem. So what do you think that is? I think it's more than constant entanglement. It's even if you know that this is related to you, we're not doing it. So what do you think about this?
Oh, yeah, this is a great question. Knowing and acting is a different thing, right? like every time, especially in US, when we talked about vegetarian, try to promote vegetarians, and when we know that there's probably less than 20%, I can say that is a vegetarian surrounding even the certified volunteer. So is it great news? No. Do they know? Yes, of course. So what is the driving force behind why they just ignore them, right? Why they just ignore even the words coming from the master? Okay, why some of them able to just take the master word and just do it, even can overcome all the obstacle. It's just a true belief. It's a faith to the master. We can say that it's a faith. If faith means that no matter what obstacle I encounter, I'm going to move forward. Right? It is a faith. How many times I feel like the experience that the three physicists doing that, they fail so many times. Only one time they success. This called faith. They faith about the truth. They believe about the truth. All the scientists, 99.999% is all failed experiments. But why they still keep going, right? Because they have the belief. They have the belief my theory will be right. Something intrusion, they believe that the quantum entangle is there. They believe that even they need to take 100 years to verify it. Okay? Probably we just take 56 years right now, right? But if you learn from the past, you will believe that in 100 years or 200 years ago, the earth is flat. At the time, all the human believe that the earth is flat. If you say that the earth is round, you're going to jail. And and one of the scientists died inside the jail because he told everyone the world is flat, is wrong. It actually is round, right? You're going to got punished and die in the jail. So it takes like 200 years to change it. Okay, we believe that the earth is round and is not center of the solar system. So are we going to in front of us that no one believes that we're going to give out? No, I don't think so. It should be a spirit of experiments, what we call. You need to be learn from the scientists. The way the scientist is so give respect to a lot of people a Nobel Prize because they keep on believe the system, believe the truth, believe the hypothesis, believe what he or she experienced. Actually, he or she experienced it. Like master, she definitely experienced it. Experience all connected. When master talk about Northern California wildfire, you know what's the first teaching she told Brother Minjing? She just told Brother Minjing, we need to encourage more people to be vegetarians. Why wildfire and vegetarian are connect together? A lot of people doesn't know that. Why wildfire? Wildfire is kind of like, maybe it's because of climate, maybe because of some incident. But why inside master, vegetarian, and the wildfire, they are all connected. Why? Because master know the truth behind. And she just continue like a scientist, like hundreds or 200 years ago. She going to continue to experiment many ways how to bring more people to believe and act on it. I think that will be a scientific kind of experiment. Maybe it will take 100 years. I don't want to be so long because I'm not sure the cost. In fact, the law of Newton still apply. that will make our world more and more worse if we do not have more positive energy coming back and turn it around. It's still in the function of the Newton world, but inside they are all together, right? The whole thing is all together. So it's very complicated questions, but I don't have the answer because it's all coming back to everyone, how you believe Master. Like for us, 20 years ago, I just listened Master one sentence. We have to be a vegetarians in order during the SARS period 20 years ago. I just heard about that. Oh, I said that, yes, I need to follow Master. Even I'm still really like to eat meat. But we just go through that. During the 6 months, I still remember. During the 6 months, I still remember I kind of suffer from because my body started changing. I still eagerly want to eat meat, but when I think about Master, I said no. I already committed to Master to be vegetarian, life after life, 生生世世. And those vows, I think those vows help me to overcome my own affliction, my own karma. Then I'm so grateful that I already passed through that period, and now is the time to pass on the experience. Yeah. Sorry,
Lisa?
long question, long answer.
No. Sister Lisa, what about you?
Oh, I in the sake of time, I guess I just want to add on, beside the vow and the faith, I guess the biggest challenge is actually desire, that actually relating back to our karma. Because there's so many, because everyone like to be happy, like to feel good. So that underlying desire behind, it's a hidden force that we often oversee and being dragged along. So I think that is so-called, back to what we have been knowing, it's the xi qi. When we like to eat, like, I know alcohol is bad for me, but after I drink it, wow, I feel so good. I may be not only just being happy, I may be trying to leverage alcohol to avoid things that worries me, to run away from things that causing me pain. So that's why, we are actually in a deluded way, being covered by the desire, because we try to run away from reality, even though the reality is actually something good for us to kind of learn from there. But somehow we find a shortcut way. Anything can eliminate from pain, from suffer, I go with it. And not to mention, there's so much influence around the world. So when you are not steady enough, we'll be dragged away. So I think those are the reasons why. Theoretically, we may know, but we are still not able to control our mind. We're still not able to control our behavior. So that's why, yeah, that's my
Thank you.
2 cents.
Thank you. I think both Lisa and also BaoRu mentioned very two different perspectives. One is coming from a very physicist or very scientific, very engineer-like approach. Yes, you believe and you follow this path. You know that there is light at the end, so you're gonna see it. It's just a matter of time. You got to keep at it. And even if you fail, you still believe it because you believe it. So you're going to keep at it and you're going to get there. Sister Lee Sen is more from the psychotherapist, analyzing our thoughts from the maybe from the brain compound, and also how we are maybe addicted to the more closer, the desire of the closer immediate gain. And so it clouds us of the further and more future gain, right? We are more greedy of what we can get right now, and we're clouded by it so that we don't see the more further and greater gains, and therefore we always pick the one that might not be the greater good. We actually pick the more immediate good. And I think there's a lot of different perspectives about why. And I picked this up because I think that's our biggest challenge, what you both said. First, you lose faith because you don't see the immediate gains. There is something that's right there for you, and there's something that's further from you. So why do you pick the one that's further? And how do you know it's going to be there when I get there, right? So combining what Sister Li San and BaoRu said, it's that the scientists, they believe, and even if you fail 99 times, you know, and you're not taking the shortcut, just dropping it, you're not taking the shortcut. And Sister Li San's point of view was that because most of us, we take the immediate gains. The immediate gains is, let me choose some other path to research. Maybe there's going to be some answer in that. And the desire of immediate gains, the desire of immediate success rather than immediate failure for future success, because I don't know if the future success is going to be there. But you have to weigh it, right? It's very difficult to weigh it, especially when you have gone through so many failures. Why would you continue to get failures? I want to get some success right now. I want to get some good right now. And so we stop believing. So it goes into what Brother BaoRu said, that we cannot, many of us are not like scientists to, you know, to really, really believe, because if your faith isn't strong enough, and I really like what BaoRu said, that you just have to believe, and that has to be strong enough so that it goes long enough until the result can show. So I think from following from what BaoRu said, that there are these type of people who have experienced it so that they believe it, right? So like Master, she experienced that the world and all sentient beings and all living and non-living all connected. So she knows, just like the Buddha, Buddha knew. So Buddha wanted to tell us, but we couldn't understand. So we will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. So the Buddha knew. There's one category of people that experienced it and believed it, right? Because you experience it, you know it. And there's a group of people that have not experienced it, but believe it. Like us, we haven't experienced it, but we choose to believe. We choose to believe Master. We choose to believe the Buddha, even though we ourselves are so far away from experiencing right now. Or maybe we had glimpse, like what Sister Li San and Brother BaoRu mentioned about the story about the wolf. And you know, you are humble. That's the moment you're connected, right? You're connected to the wolf's pain. You're connected to her, Daisy's home. You sort of know, but you're not quite there. But you sort of know. You felt it. You touched it, and then you pet it. It's not like a dog, but you sort of know how it feels. That brief instant, you're humble, and you know you're connected. But it goes very fleeting. It's very fast, right? So those of us who experience very little, very fleeting, or maybe none, but we have full faith, right? And then there's a group who have not experienced it and who chose not to have faith. And there is a group who not even not have faith, but they would choose to oppose you because they don't believe anything. It's not that they don't have faith. They have faith that what you believe is wrong. And they wanted to go against you. They wanted to challenge you. So I think the Buddha explained to us that we have to try to strengthen our faith because we haven't experienced it. We have to strengthen our faith. And also at the same time, for those that don't believe, but may be willing to believe, we have to try to get them to understand. And it's very difficult when you don't have proof. When you don't have proof, how do you do this? And that's when Master comes in, and like what Brother BaoRu said, I've shown you what I can do in 56 years. And there are results. There are results. Maybe not as great as connecting to the whole universe, but there are results. And if you see it, you will believe it too. You'll begin to believe a little bit. You know, maybe you begin exercising for a week. You see the results. Maybe not for, you know, lifetime after lifetime of healthiness, but you see the result of your breathing gets better. I think today you guys sharing is wonderful combination of 理性 and 感性. You know, how you go from an approach of complete physical physicist and also from the mental image and the mental desire, and how do you be clouded, and the both are combined, and it's one of the two same sides. And this is wonderful. And you have stories, and you have physics, and you have, you know, all these entanglement that I still don't quite understand, but it somehow, you know, get us there and have the parallel. This is wonderful. Thank you both for sharing with us.
Sounds like we passed the test.
See you.
This is wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Summarize
Oh,
this great one.
no. But I actually do have another question. And I don't really care for my own part. But if there is quantum entanglement, does that mean that we are connected? So does that mean that your goodness will be able to pull on my goodness, and vice versa? My bad, my negative energy will be pulling on you as well. Is that true? Because we're all entangled, right? So you're pulling me up, but at the same time, I'm pulling you down. Is that also part of the quantum entanglement?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. We cannot see because we limited by our five perception in a B certain E, right? If you have a very fine equipment, actually you can measure it. That's it.
So in other words, even if we don't recognize it, it's there, right? The pull and the okay. So it's not like you believe it and it's there. It's not like chi, where if you don't believe it, it doesn't really exist. There's one way of saying. I'm not sure if that's really true. But there's people saying that if you don't believe something existed, then it cannot hurt you. It cannot really affect you. But what you're saying is quantum entanglement, right? It's physics. It's not like you believe it, it's there. If you don't believe it, it's not there. It's not like that, right? So even if you don't believe it, we're all tangled up. So even if you don't believe it, you burn a tree, it's going to be adversely affecting us, right? And if
Exactly.
you are negative, I will be affected too. So Master talks about the tug of war, right? Battle. So the more negatives in the world, even if we're going upwards, then it's actually, we're going to be dragged down too. But if we are very diligent, it's possible that we can drag more people up, right? So it's always happening. It's an entanglement.
Yep.
Exactly. And then, Brother Joe, I just want to add one point. It's true that different energy is very chaotic, but ultimately, on the harmonious aspect, of the universe, there's only one profound energy, which is the compassionate energy. That compassionate energy actually allows all the different
BaoRu.
elements in the organism actually exist in harmony. So that energy is the ultimate energy that we all want to go back to. Because today, there's a lot of separation, anger, delusion, and fighting energy that coming in, that driven by the desire of all the different elements in the organism. So that's why we talk about the tug of war. So it's something that we need to, and we need to all come back to the consciousness, bring up the consciousness that all of it has within us, which is the forcing, the ultimate true suchness. Then only we can go back to the harmonious energy of the universe. So just want to add this.
Okay. The last part was a little bit deep. I don't have that. I don't have the capacity to understand.
Maybe Sister Lisa experienced it, right? She experienced it.
No, I think it's Sister Lisa's BaoRu.
Psychologist, okay.
She has very vast BaoRu for BaoRu, and that's why she can understand. It's almost like the great land. You can hold on to all the negative and positive energies and keeping balance, right? Keeping balance. When there's too much, and I believe that too, when there's too much fighting going on, compassion comes out, right? People sometimes they don't care where Ukraine is, even if there is suffering and poverty. But after the war, people now care about Ukraine. They care about the refugees. And so there's a balance. There's always a balance where I didn't know where Ukraine was before, just like before the Turkey earthquake. No one knew where Turkey was. Now we know. And so there's a balancing going on. And I think you go into what Sister Lisa said, your innate Buddha, the true suchness that we have. sometimes that needs to be inspired. Sometimes that needs to be, added on a little bit energy. And sometimes that energy is the negative. The negative pulls out the positive in us because sometimes we're just sleeping. And I think that's also true, the cycle where eventually the very bad will bring out the very good. And I think Master talks about this too in the war times, right? The Buddha was born in the wartime as well, just like Confucius. They're all born in wartime because there's so much destruction going on and so much hatred that the sages and the holy men and women are born during that time to counter. They're trying to save the populace. They're trying to save the humanity and all sentient beings to raise the awareness and compassion. So I do see that. And I think that we have to be that counterweight as well to be able to do that.
Yeah. It's a law of physics, right? The third law of Newton is coming in, everything coming out. Law of karma actually is
it's consistent, right? The energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
No.
Right?
They all has to be there. So you make harm to the people, you're going to get it back from the universe, because the law is that we are living in the samsara, 娑婆世界. That's the law of physics over here, that how it operates. So every bad thing going in, you have to hurt yourself eventually. So when you know the laws, so you have to really careful and watch. Don't. That's why the three things that Master remind us every day: think good deed, right? Do good things, and another say good word. Those actually is protect you, okay? To make sure you are getting a good energy, good fortune. Yeah, because we are talking the law of karma over here. That's why Master always use the law of karma. Like we need to implant the good fortune for yourself, right? So all is still inside the law of physics. Coming back, coming in. You have to believe. We can measure it in the physics. Okay, it's just that you do not have good equipment in your brain. Your eye is still limited to some waveform. Your ear is still limited. All is limited, right? But the law is there, up there. Then Master show us that every word that Master teach us, you have to believe deep inside, not just surface belief. You have to faith. Faith and belief are different. Belief, maybe you fail one time, okay, I just give up. Faith is you fail 99 times, 9,000 times, I still believe that. That's what called faith. Okay? And the faith can arise from you if you know the truth. That's why if you knew who you are right now, you will totally change your life. You will really caution about what the action as a human being and treat others, treat the nature, treat everything totally different. So I'm coming from the law itself that drive me. Maybe Lisan coming from the psychology part itself, that he can experience it from the 5 perceptions, right? She can experience it and touch about it, then you change the life, right? Maybe I'm more gross. I need equipment. I need the Nobel Prize to prove that to me 100 years. Okay, now I believe that. Okay, so that's a different way, different people, how they can believe on one thing, different angle coming in, but all eventually come to the one truth that actually Master always teaches. Don't underestimate every teaching sentence from Master, because whatever she said actually is the truth already. Whatever she said already is the truth. She just need people to demonstrate it in the physics, in the psychology, because Master doesn't has the knowledge, has the word in our modern lives, but the truth itself already there. You know, you need to align on that. That's very, very important, because a lot of people just listen to the master, say, okay, I do my work, listen it today. Then my life is still normal. There's nothing changed. Improve of the positive energy, improve of the cultivation. I think it shouldn't be like that. That every single word has a value on that. It is from my perspective. So
No,
yeah.
I think absolutely. I believe that. I believe that, and also what Brother BaoRu mentioned about the energy and the law itself, it makes a lot of sense. And I think that I wanted to also touch on that, in that, you know, you're talking about the law of karma and also the force. Now, if you hit something, it's going to have the reaction, action, reaction. And I think that's what Master talks about, that the reaction can be a different type of force. Just like, you know, you planted, the war is a event of hate, but you can make it into the seeds of love. And I think that's what Master is trying to do, right? You hit me, but the reaction coming back doesn't have to be another damaging hit. It could be something else. But it takes a lot of effort to change, because if it's normal, it's just 1 for 1, even bigger, sometimes 1 for 2. And we know in law of physics that some of the energy could be converted to heat, right? So if you do something, mechanical energy, and something gets dispensed and something gets lost, and that goes converted into heat. So something can definitely, these energy can definitely be transformed. It's just that the total is changed, it is unchanged. So I think what Master is trying to say is 转世成智, right? How do you change that? Yes, it seems like he hit me, but how do you change that so that you are grateful and then you return with something positive? So the force remains the same. I don't owe you, you don't owe me, but it's changed. And I think that, you know, like, for example, how we can convert petroleum or convert fossil fuel into heat so that people in the winter won't die of bitter coldness, right? So this is something that definitely we could try to change from fossil fuel into something that benefits people, or something that's harm into something that's good. And I think that's what Master is also helping this world too, you know, like a converter, some kind of converter that will change bad into something that's good. But it will be very difficult. Like, we're all good and we got transformed into bad, and now we're trying to transform into something good. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you both for a wonderful explanation. Yeah, psychological.
We didn't expect this one. We didn't expect this Q&A. Okay, Brother Joe, you have to get us prepared on this.
No. The best part is that this is completely unprepared, unscripted, and this is coming from what you truly believe. And you guys are doing so well. I mean, because this is what you believe in. This is not, you're not just reading from the PPT. This is coming from within you, right? Lisan also sharing about that nature, that harmony, right? This is all unscripted because you coming from the heart, Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we didn't hear you. Okay, thank you. So
Thank you. Next time, we will going deeper about what we know and what we learn from Nobel Prize, because I still don't get it. Quantum entanglement. I hear it all the time. People throw this thing around, and I don't know what it really is. But sometimes you don't really need to see it. Sometimes we don't have the faculties to see it, right? Our eyes can see it, our ears can hear it, but it doesn't mean that you don't believe it. We believe it, right? And now we just have to get more people to believe it, and sometimes see a little bit of it, because we can't see the whole thing, but we can see a little bit of it, and that will allow us to see and believe a little bit more. I believe that that's what we're trying to do. Thank you very much. Thank you. So what the brothers and sisters share today actually goes into what I'm going to share today. And as I only have about 13 minutes left, I'm thankful. This is actually going exactly into what I wanted to share today. Let me go very quickly. We've been in chapter 2 for a long time, and we talked about it's time for a change, and this is a change of attitude, right? Just like what Brother BaoRu mentioned, that You're going into a different field. You're going into something that will change our lives completely. Quantum physics, that it's not something that you see anymore. You just have to believe it. So it's a change that requires you letting go what you used to believe and trying to take a leap of faith. This leap will change ourselves, right? So before, in 20, 30 years ago, we wouldn't have this cell phone, right? We wouldn't have the cell phone, and knowing that this device will be more powerful than the personal computer from 10 years ago. You wouldn't believe that, right? And now it's there. So it's a completely different world. We don't know how this thing works, right? How the computer chips and how all the circuits in there work, but we believe it because we see the product. And today what we want to talk about is the 3 times halting and the 3 times pleading in chapter 2. And I think it goes very, very well into what Brother BaoRu and Sister Lisa mentioned today, because it's all about faith. A lot of it is about faith. A lot of it is about how you believe when you are not able to completely see it, but you believe, and how that works. So we know in chapter 2 that the Buddha halted the expounding of the Dharma 3 times. So there are these encounters back and forth between the Buddha, the teacher, and the student, the leader of the student, which is Sariputra. So there is this back and forth about the 2. So what happened? Why did the Buddha hold to the explanation of the Dharma 3 times? Why? And how did Sariputra was able to convince the Buddha that it's okay? So this is something that goes a little bit deeper, and we might not have enough time today to talk about it completely, but we can start thinking about it. So the 3 times, and let me go through the first time. At the very beginning. So if you go into the sutra, if you go into chapter 2, the very beginning, the Buddha praised the wisdom of the past Buddhas. The Buddha praised that all the Dharma that the Buddha had explained and expounded, all the past Buddhas, they're all the same, and they're very profound, and they're so profound that not all of us can understand, including those present at the summit. Those present at Vulture's Peak, you will not understand. You still don't understand. And so that was at the very beginning. So the very beginning, Buddha praised the wisdom, how profound it is, and that you all cannot understand. And then the Buddha said, halt, I will not go further because you can't understand. And we talk about the first halt many times. Mainly because, number one, it's getting everyone's attention, right? Getting everybody's attention, because there are many reactions, I'm sure, that upon hearing how difficult it is, the disciples, they might be a little bit losing their trust. They go like, is what Buddha is saying really true? And it will show in their eyes. It will show in their actions, how they're now sitting and how they're flinching and how they're just, they're moving. They're showing that maybe they don't quite believe you. And so the Buddha mentioned that I might as well stop. If you guys are not going to have this change of attitude, if you guys are going to continue to hold on to what you believe is real, and what I'm telling here is not real, then there's no point for me to continue. So getting everyone's attention by saying, I will not continue, and making sure that everyone knows this is time for change. How do you change? Change your attitude. If you're continuing to hold on to what you learned from the past, right? We're talking about the different vehicles. You're talking about how in this world, what you had learned from the first 40 years of Buddha's teaching, and you thought you understood, then you are not going to be able to take that leap to the next level, right? You're always going to be holding on to what you learn as the Newtonic physics, the Newton physics, but you're not able to move on to the next stage of the quantum physics because you can't see it. So you're going to hold on to what you know. You're going to hold on to all the signs that the world is flat. You are not going to be able to jump into the next realm of understanding and learning. So the Buddha wanted everybody to move on to the next stage of learning, right? You're going from elementary school to junior high school. The way you learn has to change. You're going from high school to college. The way you learn has to change. You're moving from school to graduation to real life. The way you learn has to change, right? I mean, you can always say, right? Remember, it's protected, right? You're in school, it's protected. You're in the same grade. You're competing with the people your age. You're competing with people that should have the same capacity as you. Yeah, some people are taller. Some people run faster. Some people, their families are richer. But you're all 15 years old, right? So that's the same level ground. At least you're all pretty much the same. But once you graduate, you, a freshman in the society, you're going up against someone who has already 30 years of experience. It's unfair. Yeah, but that's a competitor, right? You're a new startup. That's a company that's been here for 20 years. They have all the connections, they have all the resources, and you don't, right? So if you want to leap into this, you can't hold on to the old rules and saying that, hey, we're all high schoolers. Why does that person look like, that person's already in college, right? You go into the varsity team. Yeah, you're junior and senior, yes, but at least you're competing in the high school level, right? You go into NCAA, you're at least competing with NCAA, you're competing with college level. Yeah, he's taller, he's quicker, but at least he's still in college. He's still only 20 years old. But now you're in the real world. I'm sorry, that person is stronger and faster and much more experienced. I'm sorry you don't have that, but that's the world, right? So you need to let go of the rule and say, foul, referee, that person is like twice my experience. Tough. The rule changed. We must change with it. And therefore, making sure everyone knows it's time for change. I'm gonna stop here if you're not prepared. If you're prepared, then let's move on. But I'm stopping here because from what I see, none of you are prepared. That's when the Buddha said, no, I'm gonna stop. It's getting everybody's attention, and it's also making sure everybody is prepared to move on, right? And the Buddha repeated in this verse, such profound Dharma cannot be understood by the likes of Sariputra, the ones that have the most foremost in wisdom. Even if the world is filled with people like this, right? Even if the world is filled with the brightest minds of today, they probably will not be able to envision what's going to happen in 50 years, in 20 years, right? You can have all the brightest minds of people putting together in a war room, talking about if Russia is going to attack Ukraine. Can you exactly predict what's going to happen? No, you can't, right? You cannot predict that it was going to happen in February. And for those that predicted, will not predict that 8 months after it's still happening. And it seems like that there's a possibility that Ukraine is getting the upper hand. 8 months ago, you would not be able to believe that. Even if you pull all the brightest people in the same room, right? That's what this is talking about. Buddha said, even if you have all the world people filled with Sariputra, you still will not comprehend. Why? Because this is not how the world works. It's not like you put in all what your knowledge, and then you're all of a sudden going to have something new. It doesn't work that way. You need to be prepared to embrace something new, letting go of what you used to think you know. So that's the first halt. And so the Buddha called out to Sariputra, even after saying that you of all people are the foremost wise, foremost in wisdom. Even if the world is filled with you, even if there are countless wisdom people like you, wise people like you still would not understand. And why is that? Why is that? because you are believing from what you believe. So Buddha called out to Shariputra, you should know that the words of the Buddhas are never inconsistent. You should trust fully in the Dharma that the Buddha expands. Because you still believe in yourself, but you need to believe in the Buddha. You need to believe in the Buddha's teaching. And right now there is a inconsistency between what you believe and what the Buddha teaches. And that's why people are a little bit dismayed. That's why people are a little bit not sure and in doubt. So that's when the Shariputra came and pleaded, please, Buddha, everyone, including myself, we're in various emotions. We're shocked and dismayed and in doubt in what you have to say. So that's why you need to explain this never heard before Dharma. You need to explain to us. We're uncertain of what we learn. We're now in the limbo. We're not sure. We're in doubt and uncertain of ourselves. And all of us, 80,000 of us, all of us are here at the summit. We sincerely pleading, please teach us. That's the first plea. The second halt, the Buddha said, but if such Dharma were expounded to you, all of you will be in further doubt and shock because you don't believe. You already don't believe right now. If I tell you more, you would be further in dismay and disbelief. Why? So the second halt was to further increase. You need to raise your level of trust and faith. You need to raise and be willing to counter that letting go, right? If you want to step into this Dharma, this profound Dharma that you can't understand, you need to be willing to let go of your attachment of what you think you already understood. This is the most difficult part. You think you understood. You think you understood. You didn't realize that that was only part of the work. You hold on to your rules in NCAA and you can't get into MBA because you still think that the three-pointer line is there. You still think that the 3-second violation or whatever the rules, it's very different, but you still hold on to that rules. So you cannot jump into MBA because there's so many rules that's different. And you cannot excel in MBA because it doesn't matter. There's a 10,000 of you like in NCAA, but once you're in the world MBA, it's different. Stop. You need to let go of that. So you need to further increase. Are you ready? No, you're not ready. Are you ready? No, you're not ready. And then Shariputra is saying, oh, we're ready. We are willing. We are willing. So now the Buddha continued, all of you in the realms of heavens, humans, and Asura, along with the arrogant, I'm doing so well here in NCAA. I'm going to be able to do this. No problem. No, even including those people. You will fall into a great pit. You will not be able to stand up. You will not be able to come out of it. You'll fall into your own arrogance, thinking that you know, but you do not know. So this second hold is once again to get everybody lined up. Imagine this. Everybody is in line, right? There are people in the front that goes, I believe. And there are people in the middle that says, I'm not so sure. And then there are people in the back that says, I'm actually in doubt. So the first halt gets everybody's attention. The second halt allows the people in the middle to come up and have a good line, right? Because you can imagine line gets longer and longer. People in the front, they're very diligent. People in the middle, they're slowing down. People in the back, they didn't catch up at all. So you halt, you allow the people in the middle who are in doubt, who are not so sure, are able to come closer. That's what also this is doing, right? The second halt is trying to get people in the middle to come closer. Fall in line. That's what this is doing. Get everybody to be prepared, right? And you need to let go of the past, grab onto the future. It's time for change. Then the second plea. Once again, Shariputra says, look at all the people in line here. We all believe the Buddha's teaching. We will believe Buddha's teaching. And because we have followed the teaching for countless lifetimes, we will continue to believe. And so please expound the Dharma. We will understand. Please have faith in us. Now that's a different way of talking, right? We begin to have faith. You have to have faith in yourself before others can have faith in you. I have faith that I'm now going to have faith in the Buddha. That allows the Buddha to have faith in you. You are now ready. So the second plea is saying that we have followed the Buddha for so long. We believe you. And the Buddha says the third time, such Dharma is very difficult to imagine, all of you. Yes, but slowly the Buddha is giving us a little bit hints. It's not for you to think, it's for you to act. So you can think all you want about what tomorrow is going to happen, but it's more important to think of, to be prepared for what may come. No one knew that the war was going to happen, maybe except for Putin. And no one knew that the war is going to be 8 months long and even longer. But now, are you prepared for what may come? That's what the Buddha was trying to say. Stop imagining what's going to be, but act and walk the path, right? Those that are ignorant and arrogant will not believe because they can't let go of attachment. And the third plea came, please, Buddha, here at the summit, thousands and thousands of us, we have learned from the Buddha for years and life and after life. We definitely have faith in the Buddha's teachings. We have countless lives following Buddha. We sincerely pray and plead, please, if we hear and learn, we will receive great joy. And then eventually the Buddha taught. So what did we learn? Very quickly, let me summarize. Whatever comes next, we need to have faith, whether it's quantum computing or quantum physics. So many things that we cannot see and we cannot experience. We need to have faith. Continue, because we cannot see it right away. It doesn't mean that it's wrong or doesn't mean it's not right. We just need to have faith. And we are very fortunate because we can rely on someone that we believe, and that's Master. We might be blind, but you know you are holding on to someone who you can believe. Right? I'm not holding on to my brother because I don't believe my brother. Or sometimes I do, but not all the time. But we're holding on to Master, someone who we should have faith in. Okay? And we need to let go of the attachment. So Sariputta prayed for all. Sariputta believed that we all believe because we have been taught by the Buddha. But the Buddha was thinking about other sentient beings that have not had the affinity yet. We are all here in Tzu Chi. Of course, we believe in Master, but there are others who have no affinity. How would they believe, right? So you need to get in line. Make sure you all believe. If all of us here cannot believe, how would other people believe you? That's what the 3 pleas and 3 halts are. Okay, so that's today's sharing. I cannot go in deeper, but I think we want to go deeper in the future to examine the 3 pleas and the 3 no's, and also the reasons behind the 5,000 people leaving. Okay, so it's a lot of it is psychological, a lot of it is group dynamics, a lot of it is humanistic society, our reactions. But the most important thing is where are we? Do we know who we are? Do we know where we are? Do we know, are we truly have faith? Do we truly have faith? Do we truly have the deep faith? Okay, thank you all. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Brother BaoRu and Li San, for coming to share and going a little bit over time, but hoping that today we can affirm our faith and we can have strengthened our faith. And then for those people that you know that might be losing faith, get them along, give them energy, give them positive energy. Sometimes they don't need to hear, you have to have faith. Sometimes they just have a little bit strength. Give them the strength and they will gain the faith themselves. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
Wow, today most awesome sharing from Brother BaoRu, Sister Li San, Brother Joe, for much very powerful and energetic sharing. We also, I think over at YouTube also reading some comments like Sister Effie mentioned about this Newton law plus law of karma. It's so interesting, transporting our mind to our school days where we studied science and quantum physics. Faith indeed gives us strength to nurture the virtues. And Sister Effie mentioned her deepest gratitude to today's platform. It helps to revitalize her energy to carry on promoting veggie, the meatless meal every Saturday. It has been a year and it's not easy. But this effort today that we heard, just continue, like Brother Joe said. Stop imagining, start acting, have faith. Just continue the journey, let go of the attachment, and we will be there. So indeed, we are blessed to have Sang Ren to guide us on this platform. Okay, maybe before we end the session, let's take a group picture. If everyone can on the video, today's sharing truly cannot be found anywhere. Quantum of physics, 哇，真的是很棒。Okay, 感恩Sister YY can help to take the picture. 好，感恩你。Yeah, Brother Joe, the Sun Ching, the tree stalk, it always truly always feels that what's the message behind why have to go to 3 times. But indeed, each time listening from Brother Joe, there's a lot of feeling, very great. I think deeper and deeper gratitude because Buddha didn't give up and just say, forget about guiding this arrogant sentient being. May all of us have good thought, do good deeds, and say good words every day. Okay, thank you everyone, all the wonderful sharers for lots of powerful wisdom sharing today. Indeed, it is very inspiring and help to nurture and energize. I think like those who slowly along the path feel the fatigue, but today hearing this, hopefully it will give each of us the energy. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain this Dharma joy and take another piece of masters and Hualien love to our life. Let us invite our Brother Joe to lead us in making 3 vows to the Buddha and Sang Ren as we depart to apply these wonderful teachings in our everyday life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life universal truth together. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. Okay, 感恩 everyone， 祝福大家 take care.
感恩，祝大家，感恩大家，
拜拜，拜拜
感恩，
，take care, take care, bye.
Definitely another session. Be here more. I'm sure there are still a lot not yet shared. 感恩。